Ja, wer mich kennt, weiß, wenn ich jemand Interessantes kennenlerne, dann nehme ich ihn vor die Kamera. Martin Lindstrom, wir haben beide dieselben Initials, Martin Limbeck. Nur was unterscheidet uns beide? Er gehört zu den 100 einflussreichsten Menschen der Welt. So, we have something common, the same initial, but something split us. He is known as one of the 100 most important persons in the whole world. I'm working on that. Oh. So guys, so he's talking about small data. I just had a great speech from him. So out there, all salespersons and leaders in sales, the quick questions. What do you think when you see so many different companies, when you see so many different people at home, and you lived, I think, with 2,000 families, something like that, I read. So what is the worst mistake salespeople do when they try to sell something?
That they don't activate the need. They go straight to the solution. I believe in need activation a lot, and need activation can be done consciously or unconsciously. If I want to activate a need, we all have basic needs, right? We know that, but I can tweak the message in such a way that it activates my need. And I think a lot of salespeople think that people already are there to buy it, so they forget about all the layers you have to go through mentally to get on board and buy into that product and service. And I think is that impatience was getting shorter and shorter right now was killing business people and salespeople. So I would basically look at the need activation process, and once you activate the need, of course, you can then put your solution on top of it. But I think that's the biggest gap in selling today. Yeah,
that's usually what I heard from my clients out there too. But they think they ask good questions, and I always say that's very interesting. That's because they are too quick, like what you say, in the presentation, right?
Yeah, they are. And I think they're too quick because I think salespeople want to get straight to the point so they can get that dopamine of kicking, yes, I sold, right? Because we become sort of addicted to it. And I think in that process, we sort of start to assume that people already are feeling the same thing as we do. But every time you meet a person, you start from scratch, you have no heritage. Right? So you really have to go through certain phases. If I was a business or salesperson, I would break it down and say, what are the levels of needs I need to activate, both emotionally, physically? What are the signs I see? So I train myself not to skip those key phases which are making me, basically help me to activate the need, right?
Yeah, that's cool. I just heard in your presentation that was very interesting, 15% logical and 85% irrational, what you said. I believe very much the last decision for a product, a service, is always 100% emotion.
Absolutely.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. But if I said that, people will shoot me. So I put in the 15% for
Germany. Now I understand why people shoot me on stage. I got no idea.
I changed my slides for Switzerland and Germany and Austria, right? The reality is, most of it is. I mean, when I today look at business people and them thinking they're rational in making the decision of a big server solution they want to install or an SAP solution or whatever, at the end of the day, if you really break it down, it's pure emotional. I mean, let's say that you want to use DHL and your wife at home has just used DHL and the vase arriving was completely smashed. Will that affect you at work? Of course it will.
It will.
Even though you say, well, we have silos between private and work. No, you don't have that. Because remember, our office is in our pocket now. So I'm at work now and I'm private now. So there is no B2B and B2C anymore. In fact, I tend to say that B2B stands for boring to boring, right? Because, but that's not, it really is merging together. So I'm private and a business at the same time. That means I allow my emotions to embed myself into a business mindset as well. Therefore, it's ridiculous to think that you can be purely rational. I think we're much more emotional today than we were in the past. Was the reason why big data is doing well, because it's a way for me to justify or wash my hands in a situation where I actually kind of feel, I don't know why I'm making this decision. Let me find some data to back it up, right?
Very, very nice. Yeah, very good point. You said something what really kicked me in your speech. That was the thing about your swimming moment or your water moment. Yeah. And so I always say to salesperson, it's very, very important that you have something where you can think out of the box to get new ideas, that you have a new sales pitch, new elevator pitch, whatever you call it, a new song, something to learn. I do that, by the way, by fishing. That's my
so that's your water moment.
Point. Yeah. So I can sit down there, put the handy away, and can sometimes. And
so do you have a phone?
Yeah.
Do you want to see my phone?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll show you my phone here. This is my phone, and where's my phone? It's here. It's a Nokia.
Oh my God!
I'm the last person on planet Earth using Nokia. Okay, They just sold it recently to Foxconn, the license for it. So I'll tell you why I have a Nokia. Because I know, of course, I've been a lot, and I am still a lot into technology. But this one is really advanced stuff. It can send messages, it can receive messages, and it can even make calls. I mean, this is serious stuff, and a color display on top. And that's what it can do. So it forces me to avoid this thing because I can't do it. It helps me to restrict myself so I can have my water moments.
Cool.
And I think a lot of people use this as an escapism. And so when you tell me that you can put your hand away, perhaps, when you're fishing, that's a problem already for you. Because I bet you already now are fighting with yourself between the thing of work grabbing.
No, that's the point, because my fans outside have to see what kind of fish I catch to put it on Facebook.
But that is a conflict as well, right? It's
Yeah.
a conflict
Yeah,
because
right.
you want to have a dopamine over
you're
here,
right.
right? And then on the other hand, you have to have your
Yeah.
moment with yourself. And I think as a creative person, and you are very creative, there's no doubt about that. But you will fight with yourself where the creativity is not floating as much as it once did. And this thing in your pockets is helping you to destroy that, right?
Yeah, that's cool. Last question. You said something about the smartphones and the whole world. It's now transparency. We can buy everywhere, anytime. And so always we have waves.
Yeah.
What do you think, how many years it will take? The water moment is coming, what you call it, that we turning the things off and going back to the roots, or going back to other foundations?
So we're seeing those trends happening already now. It's happening in Iceland. It's the first place in the world where I noticed it. I was in Reykjavik last week, I think, to do a speech, and we talked to consumers and moved in with consumers. I always do that. And so first of all, they have something called the Facebook shoulder. Facebook shoulder is basically that you hold your hand in a certain way when you hold this thing here. And it's now a scientific evidence in Iceland. You have a Facebook shoulder, right?
Not a tennis shoulder anymore, a Facebook shoulder.
It's a Facebook shoulder, right? I'm not kidding. But in Iceland, where they have the highest penetration in the world, and it's a very small community, we're now noticing that people are opting out of the community. They don't want to be part of this community anymore. And that's the first evidence I've seen in the world it's happening. Once it happens in Iceland, my experience is it will happen in the rest of the world, in the most advanced countries, in 3 years from now. So I would say 2019, we probably will start to see trends, and that probably will happen in Korea, most likely. I think we will see trends of it already in Japan. It's happening in Japan right now. And we'll start to see that happening in other cultures where they're even more advanced. Perhaps Switzerland, where I'm seeing that people go up to the mountain during the weekend and they relax and stuff like that. They will start to be more and more aware of it. Even though they never bought into it 100%, they'll be more aware of it. So we'll see it happening in different cultures, in different formats, right?
Very cool. Thank you very much. I'm honored because you said you got goosebumps. I got them now. And learn something, guys. Doesn't matter how great and good you are. Be normal. He's a star and he's just an earthed person. And I'm very proud and very honored. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.